I've been looking for a house with no walls or no whispers, no hiding places, no secret sister. Been looking for a house that won't shelter a lie, no tear-stained past or reason to cry. I wanna live in a house.
This is Empowering Women Everywhere, and I am your host, Nan Gill. And today we are so blessed to have Maureen Nicolich with us from the Meals on Wheels of Rockland County. She's the Community Outreach Coordinator. Hi, Maureen.
Hi, Nan. How are you?
Excellent. How are you doing today?
Very good. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, I have the best job because I get to meet the greatest people, and Maureen is one of those great people. And she works, everyone's familiar with most of the programs that Meals on Wheels do. Most of the programs, one of the major ones that they are involved with is your homebound delivery.
Yes.
So I thought we'd start with that, but we have so much more to talk about.
Absolutely.
So you want to tell us a little bit about the homebound delivery?
Absolutely. Most people, if they're familiar with Meals on Wheels, are familiar with the homebound delivery program. For many Meals on Wheels, that's the whole of what they do. Our Meals on Wheels, we serve all of Rockland County, and we have a large commissary at our Nanuet location. We come in every morning, 5 days a week, and we prepare 1,100 meals a day. Our meals go out to over 450 homebound seniors, and we also deliver out to our senior centers and to different communal settings. So we are preparing 1,100 hot meals every day. We have a dietitian on staff, so we very carefully plan our meals to make sure that our meals are covering as many of the nutritional needs of our clients as we can possibly cover.
Right. And as I remember, you use individuals that volunteer their time to deliver your meals.
Yes, absolutely. Our meals are delivered. We have our meals broken up into smaller routes. We're delivering for anywhere from about 8 to 12 people on each route, and each one of those routes is delivered by a volunteer. And we have a tremendous fleet of volunteers. We have over 300 volunteers delivering our routes. So those volunteers are there because they want to be there and because they're giving of their time, and they're taking the time with each one of our clients and taking a few moments to check in with our clients and say a friendly hello and make sure that everything's going well and just to give a friendly face every day.
Right. Well, it's very rewarding. I delivered for a while. I don't even remember how long I did it. But it's not a long route that you have. It's typically, how long does it take?
Anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes at the most.
Right.
And they're usually smaller routes. We plan them out so they're kind of in a nice little area. If we have volunteers who live in Stony Point and deliver in Stony Point, we bring those meals to a drop point there. So they don't have to come all the way down to Nanuet to pick up their meals there. They can stay in their area, and we have several different drop points throughout the county to save our volunteers driving time and to save the craziness in our kitchen in the mornings. It would be a little overwhelming to have everyone picking up at our commissary.
At the same time.
So, yes. our meals all go out basically between 10 and 11:30. Our meals are pretty much being picked up and taken out to our seniors.
Right. And if you want to drive, it's like maybe once a week, once every other
absolutely.
week, something like that. So it can be worked out.
Absolutely. We have some people who only deliver on holidays. We have some people who do their routes weekly. We have some people who do it monthly. So it's really as much time as our volunteers have to give. We can make space.
Okay. And if somebody wants to volunteer to drive, what would the number be that they call?
They would call 845-624-6325, and they would ask for Sharon Martini. She's our volunteer coordinator, and she would be able to get them in touch. And what we do is we have a meeting once a week. We have a volunteer meeting. And people can come in and learn about all of our volunteering opportunities and figure out what works for them, and we go from there.
Okay, so they could just call and find out when the volunteer meeting was and get involved with a great group of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you're a example of the kind of people that are working over there, it's a blessing.
We have a wonderful staff, and we have a staff who we all love what we do, and we all believe in what we do. So we have a good group of people.
Right. Now, everyone thinks that when they think of Meals on Wheels, they just think about home delivery. But you have some other programs as well.
Yes.
What are some of those programs?
In Rockland County, we're so fortunate. Our Meals on Wheels program just kind of continues to expand. As we see a need, we fit it. One of our biggest programs is our senior activity centers. We have 5 senior activity centers.
Oh, I didn't realize you
Yes,
had 5.
we have 5 so we can serve all of Rockland County. We can provide transportation to anyone who is coming into our centers. So really, we can bus from anywhere to in the county to the senior center in that area. And we provide a full hot meal every day at our senior activity centers. And we operate those centers on a $5 a day suggested donation. So our members come in, they pay us $3.50 for the meal and $1.50 for the bus if they can afford to pay that. If they can't, they bring what they can afford to bring. We don't ever want anyone not to be able to participate because they can't afford it.
Right.
So they come in, and we're open from 9:30 to 3:30, and we have all kinds of activities and entertainers and presentations, and we take community outings, and it's a great time. It's just a great time, and it gets people out of their homes and out among their peers and gives them some place to go.
Right. So they could just call that number and find out.
Absolutely. They can call that our central number, and they can find out about which senior center is in their area, and they come in and give us a visit, and we just gather basic information, and then we go from there.
Terrific. Now you had some other programs as well.
Yes, we operate an adult daycare at our facility in Nanuet, and our adult daycare is for patients who have Alzheimer's and dementia. So we specialize in early stage Alzheimer's and dementia. It's a social model daycare, so we can't provide hands-on medical care. What we provide is socialization and cognitive stimulation. Those are really the focus of what we are trying to provide. We want to try to slow down the effects of the dementia as much as we can. So we have all kinds of activities that are geared towards keeping the memory sharp, keeping the mind going, keeping the cognitive function as high as possible. When we do art therapy and music therapy and pet therapy, we have a preschool in the same complex with us. So sometimes the kids will come over, and we have the kids get to visit with the clients, and it just is to provide some outlet and to keep the mind as sharp as possible, and also to provide respite for our caregivers. You have people who are trying to care for parents who cannot be left home during the day, but these people still need to go to work, and they need to go about their lives. So this gives them another option for how
so they can actually drop their
what we do in that the adult day works on it's a fee-based program. So we would have someone evaluate the patient, the client, and then we kind of go from there, and it's a sliding scale based on all kinds of different factors.
Good.
And we are able to provide transportation for the adult daycare as well, or else people can drop their family members off as well.
I saw something on 60 Minutes about boxing, that they were doing boxing.
I don't know what they do. I know that a lot of times, both in the senior center and upstairs, we use the Wii. We use the bowling. The Wii bowling is huge for our senior activity centers. We do a bowling tournament. We do a Wii bowling tournament every year. But all kinds of those activities, you can utilize things like the Wii consoles. You can utilize those for different areas of activity.
So play baseball.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. And then you also have an adult learning center?
We do. That is, it's a volunteer-driven program. We have volunteers who come in, and they establish a schedule of classes. We have classes in computer skills and smartphones and digital photography. We do a genealogy class. There's a whole schedule of classes that they run, and really anyone is able to come in. They are fee-based classes, but you can go onto the website and get a schedule of what we have to offer and call into the Adult Learning Center. And if you have interest in taking one of these classes, then you can see what our schedule is and come in and keep a class.
And what is your website?
Our website is www.mowrockland.org.
mowrockland.org.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Great. Now, there was another program that you just started that I talked to you about, and you said, well, no one knows about that program.
That's the case with a lot of our programs.
But anyway, it was Adopt a Senior?
Yes. We have an Adopt a Senior program. What Adopt a Senior does is it allows people to donate $75 which that $75 will provide a senior with 2 meals a day for a week. So if people can do it over a longer term,
Right.
so you could sponsor for more than 1 week, but it's a program that's specifically designed to support a senior on our homebound program for 2 meals a week.
Right.
Or,
Now,
excuse me, I'm sorry, 2 meals per day for
2 meals
for a
per
week.
day for a
Mhm.
week. Okay.
Yes.
And where does your funding come from?
We get funded by the county and the state. We get funded by the Office for Aging.
Okay.
We also receive private grants. We get private donations. The people that are on our homebound program or in our adult day, many of the managed long-term care, managed Medicaid long-term care, they will cover our services.
Right.
We also are able, for homebound, we have a series of private grants, corporate grants, private
Right.
grants, and anyone over the age of 60 who has a need in the home is eligible to put their name onto a waiting list for a grant. It's not an income-based situation. Anyone is entitled to be on the list for a grant. And what happens is we just put people onto the waiting list, and as money comes in, we're able to take people off of the list and put them onto the program.
Right. So if you know of someone who is a senior that would like this service, you know, definitely find out about putting them on the list and getting them started.
Absolutely. Our homebound, especially for people who have family members who live outside of the area, who can't check on their loved ones on a daily basis, it's not even necessarily just the hot meal, which in itself is a wonderful thing to know
Right.
that your loved one is getting a hot meal every day, but it's knowing that someone is checking in on their family member every day. Our volunteers, if they go to the door to deliver the food and the client doesn't answer, they call into the office, and then we will call and check on the client. And if the client doesn't answer the phone when we call, we start a safety check on our end. So we're going to find out what's going on with that client. So if you've got family members who live outside of the area, you know someone's checking in on them every day.
Wow, that's great.
Absolutely.
Very good. Okay. Okay, and then there's another program that you participate in. It's called the Magnolia
Meals.
Meals.
Magnolia Meals is a program that was established by Cancer Care and Eastside Pharmaceuticals. We are participants in the program, and what it does is it provides meal delivery for men or women who are being treated for breast cancer, and now they have just started with thyroid cancer as well. They just started that in the last few weeks. And what it does is it provides free meal delivery. What we do is we go once a month and we deliver a box of frozen meals. It's 10 meals for someone who lives alone, and it's 20 for someone who has a family, and we do that for 2 months. And if someone still has a need at the end of that 2 months, then they can always sign back onto the program. But it's just something to be a help to someone who's going through treatment, so that it's one less thing for them to be able to worry about, that they know that they have food in the house, and we
Right.
do that once.
Because when you're going through treatment, the last thing you want to do is make something to eat.
Exactly.
I know. So amazing work that you're doing. And if somebody wants to be involved as a volunteer, what areas can they volunteer
Oh goodness, we can find a spot for anyone really who wants to volunteer. Of course, many of our volunteers are homebound drivers. That's a huge faction of
Right.
our volunteers. But we have volunteers who work in the senior activity centers. We have members of the senior activity centers who also volunteer. So they go there as members, but they volunteer to help while they're there. Volunteers work upstairs in the adult day. We have office work being done by volunteers, fundraising work. We really can find something for anyone who is looking for an opportunity to volunteer. Commissary work. We have kids come in when they need hours for confirmation or for high school graduation. We
Right.
have kids as young as 12 and 13 coming in to help out to get
So
community
you
service
do have
hours.
interns that can come in.
We do. We also have interns. Right now, I think we have 4 interns that are college students that are coming in on a regular basis to help. But then, yes, we have a huge system of volunteers. And even sometimes people, if somebody has a special skill that they might be able to turn into a program for one of our
Right.
senior centers, we can find something for everyone.
I see that. And what fundraising events do you have coming up?
Right now, we actually are just the office was buzzing this morning. We are doing we do a Thanksgiving pie sale. So that is just now we're getting to the point of delivering of our all of our Thanksgiving pies. So that's one of our big fundraisers.
It's going to be too late when this
Yes,
airs.
that
so
will
you're
absolutely
gonna have
be
to
too
wait
late.
till next year, guys, if you
So
want a pie.
we don't necessarily have so many of the special events. We do a gala every year. We do a walk. Those things are in the spring. We do a dog walk. So we have all kinds of smaller activities.
Tell me about the dog walk.
The dog walk, gosh, the dog walk, I'm trying to remember the month of the dog walk this year. I was in June, I believe, and we have all that weather angst. We have people that come in and they bring their pets, and we have, a couple of vendors set up, and people come into the park and they walk their dogs, and we just do it as a little fundraiser and a little awareness, and it's just a nice community day that we have.
First time I ever heard of a dog walk.
Is that right?
To
Well,
raise money.
it goes in nicely because one of the programs that we added onto our homebound delivery. Again, if we see a need, we try to fill it. One of the programs that we have for our homebound delivery is we have a pet pantry. And we found out that there were clients who had pets in the home and they were sharing their food with their pets because that was what they had to give. We don't want them to share their foods with their pets. We want them to eat the food themselves. So we started a pet pantry, and what we have is local pet stores. Through private donations, we go out and we get pet food, and we have 2 volunteers who will come in and they'll call all of our clients every month and say, do you have a need? Do you have a pet in the house? Could you use a supplement to your pet food? And once a month with their home delivery, they'll get a bag of pet food to supply to keep their pets in the home. So
well, pets are amazing.
Absolutely.
To keep you young.
Absolutely. So anything we
Besides
can do to help.
Besides having to get them outside to do whatever they have to do and feed them.
And the company that it provides and the companionship.
And,
we want to make sure that we try to keep everybody together.
So can you tell us a little bit about some of the activities that they have at the senior center?
The senior centers are a fun place to be. One of the centers is located at our complex in Nanuet, so it's right around the corner from my office. We can always hear what's going on over there. They have entertainers in all the time, and they have all kinds of games and activities. But we do lots of special events too. We do small outings just to the grocery store sometimes, and I know in the summertime they'd be in the mood to go to Dairy Queen. They take the bus and they take a trip over to Dairy Queen. They went on a sightseeing tour in Piermont just because it was a beautiful day out and they were able to go. But we also have larger events. We have holiday parties. Each one of the centers will do their own holiday events. They get all kinds of feedback from our clients to make sure that we're giving them what they want, and our clients are not the least bit shy about letting us know what they'd like to do. I know at our Clarkstown Center we had a beach party this year. We had a senior prom, and the staff all got all done up, and all of the members came, and we have one of our members' daughter she loves to get involved in these special events, and for the prom, for instance, she set up a red carpet, and she had the entrance to the center was all done up, and she set up a red carpet, and she was greeting people as they came in with the microphone and interviewing them, and then she sets up a whole little area where she does a whole photo shoot, and it's just such a special day, and they have so much fun. They also take larger trips. They did a boat trip. All of the centers together went on a boat trip. They take trips to the casino. They take all kinds of larger trips throughout the year as well.
Right, and they decide what they want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. The directors and the program coordinators are always in conversation with the clients to see what they like and what they enjoy and what they would be interested in seeing.
Okay, so there's another situation with the sandwich generation. I know a lot of people now are experiencing where they're caring for their older parents and they're also caring for their younger children. Mm-hmm. So do you want to speak to that?
Well, and a lot of people find themselves in that situation where you have mothers and fathers who are raising their own children, but they have their own parents at home who need help and who need care. And it kind of puts them in the middle of being pulled in both directions. And that's an area where our services can be of so much help to someone who is caring for an elderly parent or an elderly relative through homebound delivery. If they have a parent who's living in their own home, but they aren't able to get out to the store, they aren't able to prepare their own foods, they know that food is being delivered. With the senior activity centers, if they know that they can't be there all the time, they can't be there checking in on their parents all the time, it gets their parents out, it gets their parents active. I was doing presentations a few weeks ago with one of our clients from our Clarkstown center, and she told me every time that we went out, she told me that her daughter the first time her daughter brought her to the center, she did not tell her where she was bringing her. Her husband was very ill. Her husband was not doing well, and she was home with the husband, and she was depressed, and she just wasn't doing great.
Right,
And the daughter
yeah.
just put her in the car and brought her to the center, and she said if she told me where she was taking me, I wouldn't have gone. But she said, I can tell you right now that if I did not belong to the center, I'd be home sitting in front of my TV every day. And instead, I'm out, I'm among friends, I have people that I get to spend my time with, and she couldn't stop talking about how much it lifts her spirits and how much it does for her personally. And I think we do that for a lot of our clients, and especially for a lot of our senior activity center participants. It just gives them another family almost to be in.
Well, it's very difficult to stay home all day.
Absolutely.
If your significant other, your spouse, for how many years is not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
If he's being cared for, what are you going to be doing while
Exactly.
he's just staying there?
Mm-hmm.
And to be out, meeting people, doing things is very important for the person, because then when they go back, they have a fresh look
Exactly.
at what's happening at the home.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And because we're able to provide the transportation, for instance, Harriet did not drive, but we have a bus. So every day the bus goes and picks her up, and she comes into the center, and the bus will drive her home at the end of the day. So having that extra layer of help, being able to, if
Right.
the client isn't able to drive themselves in, the bus will come and pick them up.
Right, and it's more about what they can afford to pay.
Absolutely.
There's not a fixed rate, it's a donation.
Absolutely.
And then I understand that even if there's a program where you can pay
Absolutely.
to have home delivery.
Absolutely. We have many people who are on grants or who are funded, but we also have clients who pay privately for their meals to be delivered. We have people who might be on a waiting list for a grant, and in the meantime, they'll do private pay. So we have clients being funded from any number of different sources, and anyone is more than welcome to do a private pay situation while they wait for a grant, or just because that's how they choose to go about it.
If they're able to pay, just, if you're far away as their child,
Mhm.
and you're able to have someone go to the home and they're able to pay
Mm-hmm.
and know that your loved one is being given a good meal.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Well, I know that we've had a woman who was close to 100 who was on the waiting list, and her name came up, and she said, "No, I'm okay. Go to the next person on the list," because she was able to continue to pay, and she wanted to make sure that someone else who might not be able to could get onto the
Right.
program. And what we've actually started doing is we get donations. We get a lot of donations of shelf-stable food for our Blizzard Box program, which I will come back to. But what we've started doing is if we get food that is in larger containers, or we just get food at times that we aren't able to use them to pack Blizzard boxes, we started bagging up bags of groceries. And if we know that there's people on the waiting list who are still waiting to be put onto the program, we'll bring them a bag of groceries just to kind of give them something to move them on, and to give them something to kind of tide them over while they're waiting.
Right. And you do get a lot of donations.
Yes.
And if anyone here any of our viewers want to donate, you can just call that number and
Absolutely.
they'll tell you, and you can be part of it. You can
Absolutely.
either adopt a senior on
Mhm.
the program, which is $75 a week, or you can just donate whatever you have available, knowing that it's going to go towards helping these great programs.
Absolutely.
So you want to share some of your success stories?
Oh goodness, we have for us. I think it's the personal touch of our service. There's other services that are available that people can have food sent to someone who's in another area, but for us, it's just the personal touches that we're able to provide. And our seniors know their drivers. They know who's coming on what day. They know the routine, and our drivers know our clients. They know if someone doesn't seem to be right today. They know if they know that if they go to the door and someone doesn't answer right away, that's not the way it usually is. That's
Right.
Even if there's a cooler, they say you might want to check in. You might want to check and make sure, because they know what to expect of their clients. We had one gentleman who was regularly delivering to a gentleman whose stairs were not in good shape. His stairs were in disrepair, and he called into the office and said, these stairs, they need to be fixed. And the social workers started the process, and they called and they weren't able to get help in one area, and so what they did was they finally went to the super, and the super ended up repairing the man's stairs. And the next time that the volunteer went to deliver, the man was there waiting for him and said, look at your new stairs. And he said, no, those are your stairs. But he said, no, if you hadn't said anything, if you hadn't started the ball rolling,
Right.
I wouldn't have those new stairs. And we have volunteers who do that kind of thing for our clients all the time. Volunteers who do their route and then they go back and have a cup of tea with this client just to visit for a few
talk
minutes,
and-
to spend a few minutes. It's the personal touches and the personal relationships that they're able to form, which goes beyond just the delivery of the food.
There's some emergency situations
Absolutely.
that you've had too, where
Yes.
they were instrumental in getting an ambulance there if someone needed one.
Yes, we've had volunteers who have gone and found someone who, in the middle of a health crisis, we had a volunteer who went to deliver and the client was having a heart attack and they were able to get help in, they're able to get someone there, which if they weren't going to deliver, who knows whether that client would have been able to get to someone in time. So we've had definitely situations where clients have, or where the drivers have come and found a situation where a client was in need of help immediately.
Right. So really, basically, if you have time on your hands, it's time to volunteer.
Absolutely.
And really getting out there and volunteering and becoming part of something, even if you don't have money to donate. I mean, just your time, your person being there, helping. You can volunteer if you're concerned about driving. You can volunteer in one of the centers.
Absolutely.
You can probably even get a bus ride over there.
Yeah, absolutely. We can make use of anyone's time. Absolutely. We are always able to find an area that needs help and assistance. So and that's what we rely on. We wouldn't be able to do what we do if we didn't have such a huge force of wonderful volunteers who are so willing to give.
And it's just community, getting together and being with each other and working toward a common good. And,
Absolutely.
And your website, again, if anybody wants to log on and find out where your senior centers are and all about your programs.
That would be www.mowrockland.org. There's also a schedule of our VIP sessions on the website, so if you're interested, you can go and see when the next VIP meeting and come in and find out about volunteering, and we do them once a week.
There's no commitment necessary.
No, you can always just come in and find out what there is to offer and see if it's for you.
Find out if everyone's as nice as Maureen.
And they are.
Well, we met at a PAN meeting, and I'll tell you, she lit up the room, and I said, you have to come on the show. And if you know anyone who you feel is doing an amazing job in the community, please have them call us at 845-294-7500 and join us on EmpoweringWomenEverywhere.tv. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.